Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the part of the lesson that has looking at the roles of the media. Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to today's lesson and to scroll down the correct section. And also in doing so, please remember to answer the key concept questions as they coincide with the reading. Remember, you can replay any part of this presentation that you might need for repetition, detail, or clarity later. Let's go ahead and get started. What is the media? Well, the word the media means different things depending on how it is used. Media is the plural form of the word medium, and a medium is a method of communicating information, entertainment, and other messages. Television is one popular medium. Radio, the internet, and cell phones are all examples of commonly used media. The term mass media refers to methods of communicating with large numbers of people. And a lot of media exists purely for entertainment, such as movies and television sitcoms. But when you hear the phrase the media, usually it is referring to the sources of our news and information about current events. Paying attention to the news media is how we stay informed about what's going on in the world around us and about what our government is doing. Now let's go ahead to the next section. The media as a gatekeeper. A gatekeeper stands guard at a gate and decides who gets to pass through and who doesn't. It is the role as gatekeeper the media decides which stories and issues are important enough to receive public attention and which aren't. As a citizen, it is important for you to realize that there are many serious events and issues you will never hear about on the evening news. But each news outlet has its own criteria for deciding which stories get through the gate and into the public eye. To understand why, you need to understand two things. The media is a business, and the media is almost always biased. Gatekeeper B. B is for business. Most people get their news from television, radio, or a newspaper, either print or online. With the exception of PBS, which is the public broadcasting system, most are commercial or for-profit sources. They make money by selling time or space to advisors or advertisers. But advertisers won't pay for ads nobody will see, so for-profit media must make the news as exciting as possible to attract lots of viewers. But let's face it, news programs are not always as exciting as, say, action films. In order to survive in today's culture, television news must keep things short, fast-paced, and exciting. On-the-hour radio news is even shorter. Stories most likely to get through the gate are those that are the most gripping. Ever wonder why the, quote, news, end quote, is full of car crashes and house fires, or that they affect the most number of people? If a story can't be told in a quick 15-second soundbite, it's likely to be left outside the gate. Gatekeeper B. B is for biased. Biased means favoring one view over another. As a human being, it is impossible to be completely unbiased, and even if you try, it's really tough to do. The media is made up of human beings, and therefore, even when the media outlets try to be unbiased, they're not always successful. Bias can cause the media to open the gate to some stories instead of others, or to report stories in a way that is weighted toward one side. There are many causes of bias. The most common among media sources is being more politically liberal, leaning toward the Democrats, or conservative, leaning toward the Republicans. Let's go down the next page here. The media as an agenda setter. Because of its role as a gatekeeper, the media is largely responsible for deciding what issues society discusses in the public sphere. That means the media also determines which issues are on the public agenda, which, of course, is the to-do list of issues the public agrees are a priority. An issue won't get on the public agenda unless it is being discussed in the public sphere, and it won't be discussed in the public sphere if nobody has heard about it. The media's role as an agenda setter is controversial, and some people don't think for-profit corporations should be set in our public agenda. They worry that many important issues will never get public attention. Some issues just aren't exciting enough to compete with entertainment. Others are too complex to fit in a short sound bite. And although the public decides which issues to care about, the media only tells the public about a few of the issues that exist. Therefore, people worry that the public does not really have much of a choice about what the issues are important. People also worry that a biased media influences the public agenda toward one way of thinking over another. Let's go to the media as a watchdog now. A real watchdog stands as a guard and barks loudly to alert the owner if there's something wrong. In its role as a watchdog, the media keeps watch on the government and others in power. It speaks out to alert the public if something happens that shouldn't. Local news stations often have a segment in which they investigate problems for people. Entire hour-long news shows are devoted to exposés, which are stories designed to expose wrongdoing. Government officials engaged in bad behavior know they will be on every news show and newspaper in the country if they are caught. So although a watchdog will bark when there's something wrong, Most of the time, the watchdog just watches. Thanks to the media, we live in a world where we can turn on the television and watch our government in action in any given moment. Stations such as C-SPAN broadcast actively, directly from the floor of Congress for everyone to see. Simply reporting information is playing the watchdog too. Without the media, we would not know what is happening behind closed doors. Now let's go to the last section here. The media's audience, you. A watchdog doesn't do any good if nobody is paying attention. The public sphere and the public agenda both depend on the same thing. The public, which is made up of people like you. And if the media reported an event and nobody watched or responded, it would have no audience or influence at all. In the same way, the public influences the media because the media can't function without people's attention. How people respond to the media's reporting can affect which stories get through the gate. So as you guys can see, the media does in fact play a huge role in all aspects of the news. And understanding the different roles that it takes on too when reporting is also key as well. Please remember at this time you're to answer the key concept questions for the reading and to engage in the rest of the activities and questions that are composed on your doc. From the guess the word section to the matching section and then also to the headline analysis. Thank you very much for tuning in and good luck with completing the rest of the lesson.